Most of it's probably mental. You don't like dark places that are wet and you're claustrophobic. You have a bunch of phobias and stuff. It's not going to be the place for you. We're starting off our adventure here in downtown Coleman. So this is a big coal town at one time. It's a little sleepy here today, but lots of cool stuff to see here. We'll show you around Coleman. We're staying in the hotel here, and they've added a new feature here. I don't think they had stop signs here before. So the most exciting new innovation they have in Coleman here is these horseless carriages. You don't have to hook a team up to your carriage. It's got a motor in it, self-propelled. Alright, so this is the hotel that we had our breakfast at here. You can stay here. And here's Mark, he's one of the owners of the hotel. And Dawn's back here, the hard-working chef there. She'll cook you a home-style breakfast. I don't think I've ever had a better breakfast than we had here. This hotel actually reminds us a lot of the Weimer Hotel. All these little rooms with all this historical stuff. It's a real cool place to stay in. And there's Sharon. So what do you think of this hotel? It's pretty cool, eh, with all these artifacts? Yeah. Yeah, and you can just walk along there and see. They've done a really good job doing all the... We just stay in a little room here, but they got some really cool bigger rooms and stuff here too. A lot nicer than staying in a regular hotel. You got all this cool history. And they've done a really nice job setting all this stuff up and fixing everything. I'll show you one of these rooms here. They got some nice rooms here all set up with a lot of old antiques. Pretty comfortable in here, nice and clean. Yeah, so this is a really cool place to stay. A lot better than staying at the Super 8. And you know, this historic old towns. Yeah, pretty neat.
Oh, I think my Nana had something like this. Cool.
There's another room here. This is the art and crafts room. The other one's called the 20s room. This is all set up as the furniture is from the 1920s, old sofas and stuff. So almost like a living museum here. This is the beds and stuff from the 1920s. Oh, a beautiful dresser. Like staying in a living museum. This air compressed air locomotive run off 800 pounds per square inch. So I don't know how they got 800 pounds charged in there, but that's what it did. So this is dinky. I've never seen a compressed air locomotive run off of high pressure like that. I don't know how they got the 800 psi in there, but that's what it is. This is an abandoned mine called the Grassy Mountain, the Grassy Mine. And look at this pile of old ore cars we got here. And see, these old ore cars are unique because they tip over. You got to put them in a tipple, and they tip actually upside down. That's the only way you can unload these ore cars. Basically, we'll see if we can find you a tipple. These are in pretty rough shape. Huh? They're just the boxes of them. They've ripped the took the undercarriage off all of these, and this is what's left of the boxes. Pretty cool. You could use all the steel to rebuild the part of them, I guess. There's a pile of mine equipment here. We'll show you some of the stuff they got here. This looks almost like a sharpening machine to me. Possibly. Yeah, probably sharpen drill bits or something. Oh, lots of history here in this Blairmore coal in this area. You think they'd drag a bunch of this stuff to the museum? Yeah, the coal is quite a bit different than what we're used to. So we're going to learn a little bit about coal mining and how some of this equipment worked and the processes. Already we learned a little bit about coke today. And coking coal, basically they just take regular coal and it's like making charcoal out of wood. They just basically heat it up to a higher temperature and burn off all the impurities and stuff, and it burns much hotter than coke or regular coal. So here's a coke oven. I'll explain to you how they make coke, and it's not very complicated. So they just have a big oven here. It's got the refractory brick and a lot of other brick around it, I guess, to keep it warm. And you just shovel it right full of coal, then you just light a match here and you let it burn, and then you close it off so it's just kind of barely smoldering. It doesn't get much oxygen. 3 or 4 days later, whatever, it kind of burns, I guess, all the methane gases off, and it's far lighter. So it's easier to ship to the smelters and stuff, and it's far more powerful than coal. It's way more. So it's just kind of like same as making briquettes, you know, for your barbecue out of wood. So pretty simple process. There's a huge big row of those. We're just showing you 2 here. They're all the same. All right, we're on our way back to the Bellevue Mine where we were last week, and we're going to go way back to the mine with the mine inspector. But on the way there, we had to check this out. So this was actually a real big mine right in Coleman, so we thought we'd go and have a look at it. So it's supposed to be all blocked off, but there's a way in there. So we're going to sneak in there and show you this. But then after that, we're heading to the Bellevue Mine. We're going way back into it, and we've got a whole bunch more artifacts to show you. We're going to show you the largest truck in the world and lots of other cool stuff. So we'll just have a look at this, and we'll head to the coal mine. I'm a pretty fat mouse, I don't know. That looks pretty skinny, all right.
It does.
Let's see. Oh.
Oh, he's right.
No, that's not gonna fit my fat ass in there. I'm stuck already. After a few minor modifications, decided, well, give her another try.
I'll see you in the morning.
Oh, maybe.
What? What are you doing?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
Light. There we go. Ha. There we go. Well, let's have a look at this mine here. There's 2 portals here. They're joining up. I don't know why there's 2 portals, but there's 2 portals. Pretty fair-sized mine. So they said this is all sealed up. But we got this far at least. Yeah, they got her sealed up past here though. Yeah, she's pretty sealed up from here. Oh yeah. Solid concrete barrier.
Well, your head is okay.
Oh, my beard's too fat.
Your beard.
That's not too hard. Oh. See, this thing's only.
Yeah, I know. Thick. I saw that.
So you just have to get around that part.
That's what I checked out first.
You could have made it.
Yeah, I could.
It's all psychological.
No, I could have. There was no use. It was the end.
But I can make a good video if you want to.
You are filthy.
So, we're going to have to find a better mine than this one to get in, I guess. So you got to come down and do a safety inspection every day before the tour starts?
I do, yeah. I'm officially the safety officer, as it were. So,
yeah.
Yeah. There's not too many of those old guys around anymore. Most of them are. Now them things, well, you know what they are, don't you?
Stopers.
Yeah, they're pretty.
Those for drilling the holes in the back for
well, I'd never, you know, dealt with them before I come to Canada.
Yeah.
And
I've got a museum at home. I've got a bunch of drills that work. I hook it up with the air rest. They're pretty loud. How much methane gas are you allowed to have in here?
Well,
what percentage?
anytime you don't want to be going a book too.
Those are charging stations for the
Yeah, they will.
for the miners' lights. Charging stations. So this was all done up more recently, just for the mine tour, I guess, eh?
Oh yeah.
None of this is original. So that's where they bent the track. Remember you were saying with them that
Yeah.
track bender yesterday?
Yeah.
Some places they have it arched. They have an arch for the
Pretty cool.
get snow melt and.
These mines, you know, they had no bathrooms, eh?
So it's like an open sewer system.
No, and that's one of the reasons why there was no, you know, no women worked in the mines there. Just down, you know, and everybody else got killed.
Oh.
We wasn't seeing the manager. The manager climbed up one side of his down the other, threatened to put us on nights for, you know. He said we'd grow old on nights if it ever happened again. And he explained to us how the horse was more important than we were.
Yeah,
For the simple reason it took him 4 years to really train a horse. People only got paid, the men only got paid for the amount of coal that they would produce.
Yeah. Can I go up there and have a look?
But don't go past that,
Yeah.
don't go past that.
Don't go past the sign?
Don't go past the sign.
Okay, sure. Oh, look at the size of the seam here. Looks pretty cool.
And they would have all the coal, they would drive some Lego for the coal.
Gonna have a look up at the
Now the young guy,
drift here.
there
we go.
Running. And
Kind of collapsed in here, as you can see.
And what they do is, whenever that
Yeah, they did a bunch of work to clean this all up here. Okay.
that coal there is very, very hard. That is exceptionally hard coal.
And this is the apron here, eh? So they put this down like that, fill it up, and then dump it, eh? So what do you think? You want a job in the coal mine?
I don't think so.
I told you I was going to make you mine.
You could buy me a gold mine, I guess.
Well, what you do is you learn to listen to the old guys. Put it that way.
Mine was operating. How come they didn't mine this?
Well, you start at the far end and you work your way back.
Oh, I see. Okay, right. Yeah.
That's how they do it.
Ah, I see. Okay.
You work your way back. That way you don't paint yourself in a corner.
Right. Yeah. Matter of logistics.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now we'll get into the interesting part.
Be very careful.
Yeah. Don't touch nothing. That's how more crumbly in here.
Yeah, well,
That's all old cribbing, eh?
yeah.
Yeah, neat. It's starting to come off of the sides a little bit. Yeah. Wow, pretty cool, eh? Goes back along the creek here. A pretty good little path along here, actually. Pretty easy to walk along here. There we go. Our tour guide's getting a little bit on an age. Been doing this for a long time. Oh, there's a track switch. Yeah. Some of this little collapsed in here. Too bad. I don't know how far we'll get. We'll see, I guess. Probably get into trouble if I get too far ahead of him, but I don't think he's going to keep up to me. My inspector or no. Yeah, well, don't get too much trouble here. The worst thing that happens is I end up going for a bath. Oh yeah. I don't think the old guy's going to go much further than this. Yeah, I got a number of raises in here, huh? Ah. Well, this is where those ore carts are. Yeah. Bunch of carts. Oh, this is really cool. It's all collapsed here. Look at the carts here. They're still in the original place. Wow. So there's a raise. We're seeing these raises. Maybe just testing the seams or something. I'm not sure. There's a whole line of old ore carts here. Still the wheels and everything are sitting on there. Oh, neat, eh? Don't seem to be in terrible shape. Yeah. 1, 2, that's just like in Phoenix, eh? There's a whole row of old ore carts in Phoenix too. They just left them right here in the mine. Strange, eh? When they shut them down, just leave them on the spur. Maybe they're a little older or something, I'm not sure. Yeah. Wow, whole row of them. They got some raises. Looks, that coal doesn't look great here, you know? Looks kind of crumbly. Looks like it's not real pure. Looks like there's a lot of impurities into this coal here. Lots of air moving in here, so further up the mountain somewhere, there's got to be some big holes. Pretty neat looking cars though. Gotta love them. They look pretty neat. Man, I don't know how many cars there is. Let's see. I don't think we're going to get much further. Yeah. Must be, I don't know how many cars. Quite a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're about 15 cars all the way along here. I think Jim's in very good shape for walking.
No, but he's going to stay right where he is.
What did he say, that we can go for a ways?
He said there's a wagon.
Yeah.
We can go to the wagon.
Okay.
And then he'll just wait where he is.
Okay, cool. I'm going to go a little further real quick, but take some pictures of real cool where the wagons are. There's nice, very nice of these guys actually to let us document this. This is the only operating coal mine in Canada, so, or mine tour in Canada. So let's have a quick little look here. Let's see how far, much further we can get past here. Look at this. See all these timbers are laying on the ground? They're all these, it's all collapsed. Lots of air moving through here, and it's moving from the portal to the back. So that's kind of cool. We're going to go back a little further than we're supposed to. That's how we do things, huh? Okay. Well, it just kind of keeps going just like that. Pretty collapsed. Well, the stalls are all breaking off the side, but I don't think from a stability point of view that's really dangerous. It's not unstable, you know, particularly. As long as you kind of stick, you're not going to get any trouble as long as you stick close to the right side here. Should be fine. Still here, cars are still here. Yeah. Wow, that's pretty cool. Whoop. I thought that was a little more solid.
Yeah, no.
There you go. There, I got my feet wet in the coal mine, see?
You got more than your feet wet.
Yeah. Actually, my package is wet. Huh?
I'm thinking
Broke the rule.
darn close.
So, even that looks kind of solid, it's not. See all these timbers that are laying across, all the way across?
Yeah.
They're all breaking off. They all fell off. They all wanted and fell.
Oh, I see.
That's what the timbers, as far as you can see, these timbers have all fallen across and they've all rotted out.
Huh.
But really not that much of it has slid down. So the ditch is pretty wet, as you probably noticed. Well, this is probably the easiest mine adventure we've been on, eh?
For me, yep, I'm dry.
Yeah. Well, I'm wet, but that doesn't bother me none. Par for the course.
Yep.
Well, I was,
Well, I picture me chipping some coal.
Pretending, yep.
my wife used to put a big meal for me, eh?
Uh-huh.
And that was the biggest thing that I had to do was I had to explain to her that I didn't need that anymore.
We got 15 tons yet?
No.
How much do they pay a ton, Jim?
Oh, I don't know, it varies, eh?
I say
Well,
you made about...
yeah, you couldn't give that away now anyway, that's thermal coal, eh?
Say you made about 5 cents.
You'd make more money.
Whoa!
You'd make more money collecting pop bottles along the highway. Pop cans along the highway, you'd probably make more money now.
Pretty hard, actually, you know? It's not as tough as you think.
Okay, just hang on.
We're going to see if we can have a peek at this.
That's where that used to go.
Oh, really? Huh?
Yeah, down to the Hellcrest Mine, apparently.
All right, we're going to go up to this level up here. And we got into the cribs are there into the face going back. That goes into the Hellcrest Mine, apparently. So we're going to have a look. What else do we got up here? Got a stoper here. Yep. Couple of them. Let's have a look up at the stope here.
Alright, are we good to continue?
Oh yeah. There's another cool level up here. There we go. Huh. Yeah. There she continues on. There's a ladder that goes up this part. Made a little. It's not very steep in here, see, so this seam goes up this way, by the way. Don't know if there's a shaft. Nope. This stuff's not near. That's Mostly just shale. I don't see much coal right there. Kind of spotty in here, I think. Let's see, what do we got here? Yeah, it carries on. Okay. Pretty neat. The seam's not as what I expected. It's kind of different. You see a lot different types of rock here. It's not differentiated, just straight coal and rock. Hey, so there you see it's peeling off the back there. That's all peeled off there. Hop down here and have a look. A little bit, get behind the scenes here. A little. Have a look at this stuff here. Okay. Get down on this cribbing here.
What we do is like a place like this, we will build it.
Too much of a jump there. Well, a bit of a jump.
When we want to change ventilation with enough what we used to call it.
Next to the Bellevue is the site of Canada's worst mine disaster. So 189 lives were lost there and all but one was recovered. And this is the Hellcrest Mine, the memorial there. And back in 1914, on June 19th, 189 miners lost their lives in this coal mine, Canada's deadliest mine disaster. Steam boiler here, so was built by the Exeline Machine Co. Sherbrooke, Quebec, 1903. Just used a lot of electricity in this mine for the trains and run compressors and lights, of course. So pretty cool mine. The drains, so this is what they call the dry. The miners came in here and they had toilets and stuff in here. And they would have hung all their clothes in here. Usually they had like hooks up in the ceiling. And they hung all their clothes and stuff and had their lockers in here. They come at the end of this shift and have their shower and put their street clothes on. Right, this is the only place I've ever seen a tipple before. So the cars come in here and this chain fed the cars to the tipple. So the tipple ran along here. Then they uncoupled the cars. The operator would stood at the station here and they run the cars inside this tipple and unhook them, roll them upside down, and the coal would go out. And then from there, the way it was set up is the gravity, the car would just roll down, the empty car would just roll down up one of those ramps and into one of these two pockets. So then they recouple the cars. They would sit up in here, and then the chain would drive would pick the cars back up and take them back up to the mine to load them up again. So kind of a pretty complicated system in a way, but that's the way they do it with coal. So it's all riveted together. So would that tell us that was built before 1920? So I wonder how many millions of cars, maybe, that this might have dumped. And there's a good chance the coal and stuff from all our smelters in the boundary, where the coal probably came from here. Yeah, right below the tipple there, you can see some of the gears and everything, how it worked. Lots of machinery left in here yet. Almost like an amusement ride here with all these chains going around. Wow, this thing seems to be pretty complete. This is the setup of how they run those two chains on both sides. And now look at this, this is really cool. So this is the clutch that you saw from the top. And this is how they stop and start the line to run those chains. So this is a clutch here. And then that belt run up and it would run the drive to bring the cars back up. So we're checking out coal mines this week. If you're wondering what the largest truck in the world looks like, this is it. We're in Sparwood, British Columbia, and look at the size of that truck. So I'm coming right up to the middle of it. So there you go, that's a big truck. There, this is a Titan. This is the only one that was ever built back in 1970.